All right, hello Simply Well Society. Happy December. I hope you are doing well and braving the cold, if it is cold where you're living. Today we're going to do a gentle yoga flow for spinal health. So as many of you know, there are 6 ways that you move your spine. We move our spine forwards, backwards, laterally, right and left, and then we twist right and left. So in all of the yoga classes that I have given you, posted on my YouTube channel, we warm up the spine in all of these ways before we begin our practice. But today that's going to be just our main focus, is different ways that you can do all 6 of these movements. So forward bending, back bending, side body stretching, and twisting. This is great to improve your posture, improve any back pain, and linked with the other video that I'm giving you this month, which is for yoga for core strength. So these are 2 things that are really crucial for your yoga practice, not only to make the poses look correct, air quotes, but to do them safely. So that's going to be our goal for this class. We're going to get started in a seated position. You can bring either shin in front of the other, whichever one feels more comfortable. You're always welcome to take a seat on a blanket, a bolster, or a block if that's more comfortable for you. Roll your shoulders down your spine a few times. Either shift your gaze downward in front of your shins or close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths where you feel the crown of your head lift and your shoulder blades melt. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, feel the heaviness through your sitting bones. 2 more. Gently open your eyes. On your inhale, reach both arms out and up. I'll have you bring your right hand, maybe your fingertips, about a foot outside of your right hip. Reach your left arm up and over. And as you start to do this, maybe you put your palm down. Move the hand a little further away from you until you find a space where you feel that length through the left side. Think about sliding a piece of paper away from you with your right hand, so you're actually engaging the right side and then stretching the left side. If this feels good, stay here or shift your gaze up under your left tricep. Maybe bring your hand to the back of your skull. Feel a little bit more opening through the left tricep and the armpit. Press down into your right hand. Lift your left arm back up. Then we'll bring the left hand to the left knee and your right hand behind you. So now we're twisting. Look over your right shoulder and think about dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Feel a gentle wringing out of your spine. And then inhale, reach both arms out and up. Exhale, bring your left fingertips outside of your left hip and your right arm just reaches up and over. Then as you find this space, you can bring that left palm down and maybe lean a little bit more to the left. Stay here or shift your gaze up under your right armpit. Maybe bring your right hand to the back of your skull if you're craving more sensation on the right side. All right, press down into your left hand, reach your right arm back up. Take your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind you. Gradually shifting your gaze over your left shoulder. Almost think about expanding your chest. Next, inhale, unwind, reach your arms up. And then we'll bring the hands onto the knees. We'll actually switch out, so opposite shin in front, just to keep things even. Hands onto your knees. So we've already worked our side body stretch, our twist. Now we're gonna work a little bit of the forward-backward movement of your spine. On your inhale, arch your back. Shift your weight a little forward. So the abdomen expands, sternum forward, chin up. On your exhale, kind of rock back on your seat, tuck your chin to your chest, and round your spine. Inhale, seated cow pose. Look up, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, seated cat pose. Chin to your chest, pull your belly button in. Then keep it moving back and forth. Few rounds here. Start to feel your lower back. Maybe the muscles around the shoulder blades start to warm up. Feeling some space through your abdomen and your stomach. And then we'll meet with a neutral spine. We'll go ahead and either cross over the ankles or move them to one side, come into a tabletop. Now, once you're in tabletop, you can get a little bit more movement out of your cat-cow, especially from the lower back. So on your inhale, drop your stomach, pull your chest forward and look up. Try to really exaggerate. Press down through the tops of the feet. Now on your exhale, scoop your tailbone. Almost think about pressing your pubic bone forward and more space between the shoulder blades. On your inhale, arch your back. Draw the shoulder blades together, chin forward. Exhale, chin to chest. Try to increase the length of your arms. Press through the mat. And then a few rounds here on your own. If you really focus on the engagement of those small muscles, those parts of the body you might not usually think about, you can get a lot more out of this cat-cow. One more. And then we'll work a deeper twist, meet in a tabletop. Bring your left hand to the center of the mat. This will look familiar. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Create some expansion through your chest and thread your right arm through, palm face up. Your shoulder comes all the way down, ear all the way down. Walk your left hand forward. If you're comfy where you are here, stay. Or take your left hand to your right hip crease for a deeper twist. Trying to peel your left shoulder back. Open your chest up to the left. Press down through the tops of your feet for 3, 2, and 1. Bring your left hand down. Press. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Then bringing that right hand down to the center of your mat. Inhale, stretch your left arm up. And then we'll thread that left arm all the way through, palm face up. Bring your left shoulder and ear all the way down and walk your right hand forward. Stay here, take it for half wrap. Bump your hips a little to the left and try to spiral your chest open to the right. 3. Keep breathing. 2. And 1. Gradually put your right hand back down. Inhale, unwind, reach your left arm up. And exhale, back down to that tabletop. Now we're going to tuck the toes, come up to downward facing dog. Put a generous bend in your knees to start, so your spine should be relatively flat. Now, if you lift your heels up enough and bend your knees, you can find a little arch in your back. So think about Think about cow pose, flipping your tailbone up, maybe looking forward between your thumbs. And then as you inhale, spinal, roll yourself forward to a high plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, look down between your thumbs, and kind of dome your upper back. And then as you start to bend your knees, push your hips back, almost towards a bear pose. Flip your tailbone up, and then start to lift your heels up, hips up, and spinal, roll yourself all the way forward to a plank. So you press your hips back, bending your knees. As you press back all the way, you'll start to flip the tailbone up, find that arch through your spine, and then roll yourself one vertebrae at a time forward to plank. Let's do 2 more. Press back nice and slow. Flip the tailbone up, arch, 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 and then coming into that rounding a little bit in your plank. 1 more. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and lift the right leg up. On your exhale, take a step up towards your right thumb. Drop your left knee down to the mat and reach both arms up. So here, your spine is pretty much neutral with a little arch in your low back. If you find you're dumping your hips forward, you're gonna put a lot of extra pressure on your left hip flexor. You're not engaging your core, and your low back then has a really big C curve. So we want a gentle tuck of the pelvis, arms up, everything's engaged. Excuse me. Take your right hand and grab your left wrist and lean over to the right. So now we're getting a side body stretch. Squeeze the right side of your body. Relax your shoulders down your spine. Inhale, come back up. Bring your left hand to your right knee and reach your right arm back. Now we're twisting. Squeeze your inner thighs and use that left hand to right knee connection as leverage to deepen your twist. So when you're pressing one body part into another, you have a little bit more leverage to twist. Use your body as a prop. Inhale, reach both arms up. Now we are going to go for a back bend. Instead of just dumping your hips forward, think more of lifting up from your waist, leaning back from your upper back, and then bring your hands down to the mat. Let's go ahead and spin the left shin behind us. Bring the left hand to the back of your mat, modified side plank. So you have a lot of length through the right side. It's more of a side body stretch. And then press down through your right foot. Step your left foot back to a side plank. You could stagger your feet. Try to press your hips up a little bit more, almost creating a crescent moon shape. And then release your right hand down. We'll be in a tabletop. Just kidding, we'll be in a plank pose. Send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you, and then step up towards your left thumb. Drop your right knee and reach both arms up. Again, we want to avoid the dump of the hips forward. It's easy like this, but you're not going to be getting much out of the posture. So think about knitting the ribs in a little bit towards the hips, pressing down through the top of your right ankle and squeezing your right glute. Take your left hand, grab your right wrist, inhale, exhale, a lean to the left. Inhale, come back up. Bring your right hand to your left knee and sweep your left arm back. Squeeze your right glute to feel more stable here if you feel a little wobbly. Now inhale, reach both arms up, and we're going for our back bend. Instead of bending from the lower back, try to pick your back ribs up, almost leaning back over an imaginary wall behind you. Great. Plant your hands to the mat. Spin your right shin behind you, and then work your right hand towards the top of your mat for modified side plank. Feeling a lot of length through the left side. Press your hips forward. So you're getting a little bit of a side bend here. Step your right foot back to meet your left, side plank. Now really try to press those hips up, creating more of that C curve, that crescent moon shape with the left side of your body. And release your left hand down, plank position. Press your hips up and back to downward facing dog. And then tippy toe your feet towards the top of your mat. I want your feet directly behind your hands, so about the width of your hips. Now, on your inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins. When we do this in our yoga classes, the goal is to have a nice flat back. So you're kind of pulling the ribs in, the belly button comes up, gentle tuck of your chin. What I see a lot of times is a really relaxed. So you're lifting the tailbone up, kind of like a cow pose. You're arching your back, looking forward, craning your neck, maybe to see the instructor. But we really want to get that nice engagement through the core, looking down at the mat. You could even bend the knees a little bit if you need. On your exhale, forward fold. So inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Bring your feet out wider, the width of your mat. Another twist, bend your left knee, left hand down, right arm up. If you're ready for a deeper, right hand goes behind the back to the left hip crease. Now, if you are flexible or if you're just looking for something new, we can always deepen the twist with a bind. Your left arm here might come underneath your left leg and then reach your left hand towards the back of your mat, palm face in. If the arm is through enough, you'll bend the elbow and the palm will face out. You'll reach for fingertips or maybe for your right wrist. And then it's easy to drop the torso down and look at the mat, but you want to keep the spiral of the chest to the right. Feel how using your body as a prop can really deepen the twist that you're feeling for 3, 2, 1. Gently release. Both hands to the mat. Bend your right knee and put your right hand down. Reach your left arm up. Take your left arm behind your back, half wrap. And then if you tried it on side 1, you can kind of bend your right elbow more, dip your torso down as far as you can. Extend your right arm underneath your right leg. Palm face in. Then you'll bend your right elbow and you need to turn the palm to face out. Grab fingertips or your left wrist. And instead of looking down at the mat, look up, spiral the chest to the left for 3, 2, 1. Gently release one hand down at a time. Slowly ragdoll yourself all the way up to stand. Roll the shoulders back and down your spine. Nice neutral spine here. So if you're not engaged, you might feel a dumping into the lower back, or you might be flipping your tailbone up and getting an arch in your lower back. So we want nice and neutral, a little bit engagement through your core, through your glutes. Inhale, reach your arms up, and then bind your hands behind your back. Draw your shoulder blades together, contract your back muscles. Send your hips forward and bring the weight to your heels. Lift your sternum and lean back. Looking up is great. If you feel stable, you can drop your head all the way back for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up. Bend the knees a bit as you come into your forward fold. Always countering the pose. You can always bend the knees in your forward folds. Allow gravity to help you out here. The arms up and over, crown of the head sinking. And release your hands to the mat. Bring your feet the width of your hips. And take a step back with your left foot. Keep your left hand down and reach your right arm up. Twist. You can always use a block here. And then we're going to come all the way up to standing into a crescent lunge. Bring prayer hands to your heart center. Take an inhale. Exhale, prayer twist to the right. Hook your left elbow on or outside of your right knee. You can always drop your back knee first, get into it, and then pick your left knee back up off the mat. Press your right palm down into your left palm and press the back of your left knee up. Try to spiral your sternum towards your thumbs and maybe look up towards the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. Put your hands down to the mat. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, neutral spine. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back. Put your right hand down on the mat and reach your left arm up. Try to make sure your left knee's not falling out. Squeeze everything into the midline. And then inhale, reach both arms up, crescent lunge. Square your shoulders. There will be a little natural arch in your lower back, but you want to try to minimize it by engaging your core. Bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale. Exhale, prayer twist to the left. And remember, you can always drop your back knee first. Now here it's easy because of the pressure of the right elbow for the left knee to fall in. So try to press the knee out into the elbow and use that as leverage. Press your left palm down into your right palm so it's a really engaged pose. Challenging, look up for 3, 2, 1. Gently release your hands down. This time step your left foot back to meet your right and lower all the way down onto your stomach. Stomach is a great place to strengthen your back muscles. Press down through the tops of your feet. On your inhale, float your chest in your hands. This is baby cobra, a gentle back bend. You'll feel some compression in your lumbar spine. Think about pressing your pubic bone down, shoulder blades back. 3, 2, stretch your arms forward. 1. So now you feel a little bit more contraction between the shoulder blades and lift your legs up. Squeeze your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Let's take a rest. Stack your palms and rest your forehead on that top palm. Feel some space between the shoulder blades. Take an inhale and an exhale. All right, pretty deep back bend here. I'm going to have you bend your knees. Sweep your arms back. Your thumbs will point down. This is floor bow. So you'll grab your outside edges of your feet or ankles. Now, if this is not accessible, I want you to just reach back in that direction and imagine you're grabbing your feet. If you have a strap, you could also use that. However, it seems to me like a lot of effort to use the strap when you can just mirror the pose without grabbing the feet and get the same benefits. So when you're ready, whether you have the feet or not, you're going to start to lift your chest up. Now, it is actually easier if you can grab your feet because you can kick back into your hands, therefore getting a deeper back bend. If you don't have the grip, you're kicking, but you're also reaching, so you're engaging actually a little bit more. You're not getting as deep of a back bend, but either way, it's a trade-off, and they're both great. You can choose whether you like to point or flex your feet here. I like flexed for 3. Try to lift your sternum. 2, 1. Gently release. Bring your knees down, hands to the mat. Press firmly into your palms and roll up to a cobra pose. So this is a back bend as well. A lot of times I see the shoulders coming up to the ears. Try to pin the shoulders back, sternum forward. Squeeze your glutes. And then we'll grab a child's pose. Child's pose is a nice neutral spine, which is why it feels so nice. You can always rest a blanket or a bolster between your legs. Child's pose is a wonderful reset because of how neutral your spine is here. Inhale, come forward to tabletop. Then I'll have you kind of cross your ankles and grab a seated position. We're going to come all the way down onto our back with your feet planted on the mat, toes point forward, arms by your side. Now, as you might be able to see and feel, you might have a little arch in your lower back. Try to minimize that by pressing down. Feel a little scoop of the pelvis. So you're almost tilting the pelvis, squeezing your glutes a bit. You can feel almost every vertebrae from the tailbone all the way through the back of the neck pressed down. Now slowly, think one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to have you lift your tailbone up, then your first, second, third vertebrae until you come all the way up to a bridge pose. So instead of just lifting up all at once, it's more of a spinal articulation to come up, and you're going to go down the opposite way. So dropping down one vertebrae, the tailbone will be last. Think one vertebrae at a time. You really have to engage your legs, squeeze your glutes, your thighs. Slowly, the tailbone will come all the way down. And again, tailbone lift, one vertebrae at a time. You slowly are lifting your hips, your lower back, and your middle back off the mat. And then coming back down one vertebrae at a time. It should be challenging, and you should feel this in your glutes. Let's do one more. Tailbone lift first, and nice and slow. And coming back down. So that is a wonderful drill, not only for your spinal articulation and for spine health, but also to warm up your glutes before you like to work out, especially if you're doing leg day. It's a wonderful one to get warmed up. Let's go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Now I'll have you cross your right leg over your left, kind of like eagle legs. So your legs are crossed, right leg is on top. Now a lot of times we'll take a twist like this, and the knees you would automatically think will go to the left. But this time I want you to take the knees to the right first. It's going to feel like a kind of an awkward twist, and your legs might not come all the way down. Reach your left arm out to the left and look to the left. So you're getting a twist in the opposite way that kind of feels natural. Feels really nice on that outer hip and the lower back. Then you'll gradually bring your knees back through center, and you can keep them crossed. And now we'll take it the way that feels more natural. Your knees will go over to the left and look to the right. If the legs crossed doesn't feel good, you're always welcome to uncross the legs here. Relax your right shoulder down. And gradually draw your knees back through center. Unwind your legs and cross your left leg over your right. We're going to drop the knees over to the left first. It's going to feel a little awkward, and you'll look to the right. So you can kind of get into a muscle that's completely different from any other twist. Kind of around the tailbone. This is great, in my opinion, if you have lower back pain, hip pain. Now let's bring the knees through center and take it the more natural feeling way. Drop your knees over to the right and look to the left. Slowly bring your knees back through center. Hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And we'll take a few minutes, rest in Shavasana. Extend your legs. Sprawl your arms out. You could grab a blanket or a towel for your eyes. You could always put a bolster or something underneath your knees, especially if you don't like that natural arch in your lower back. If you do have lower back pain, a good alternative is to bend the knees and bring the feet out wide, about the width of your mat, and let your knees fall in towards each other. You're going to kind of minimize that space between the mat and your lower back, so it might feel a little bit better. Just an option. Relax the front of your body. Let your heart space feel open, less contraction in your abdomen. Relax your breathing, allow it to return to its natural state. I always aim, let's go for 10 really long breaths. Shavasana. Bring some gentle awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. And when you're ready, stretch your arms over your head. Lengthen your body. Hug your knees into your chest and roll to one side into a fetal pose. As you're ready, making your way up to a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, good posture, shoulders relaxed. Hopefully feeling some length through your spine. Bring both hands to your heart center. Take an inhale. And exhale. Bow your head towards your heart. Thank you so much for joining and for sharing your energy and your practice. Namaste. Thank you guys for participating in this spinal health yoga class. It was a little bit slower and more informative, so I hope you enjoyed the little pieces of information I gave you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, and just thank you so much for being here. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, if you learned something, and always hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.